All right, so I want to bring to you the title of the talk is Pandora's Box. Pandora's Box. I don't know if everybody is familiar with that story. It's Greek mythology. And, you know, it's kind of similar. What is it? It reminded me of when I told Michael what was my title today. He goes, "What's in your wallet?" We all know that one, don't we? What's in your wallet? Well, Pandora's Box, again, comes from Greek mythology, and I want to just tell you a little bit about Greek mythology, really quick. Greek mythology involves gods, or many gods, and it was created just like mythology, myths. They are myths that were oral. It was an oral tradition back then. So things were told in stories. And, you know, I was thinking about, it's very similar to present day on some of our holidays. Preferably Easter, especially Easter and Christmas. And the myths that we may have created in characters around those holidays. Well, it's kind of the same thing back in the days of Greek mythology. They created myths in order to make people feel good, or a lot of the time it was to make people fearful of the gods. And so there were many gods, and these gods had power, right? Again, these were myths, oral tradition, but people fell, or so I'm going to say succumbed to these myths and took them on as real and really did fear the gods. So that, very similar to the way I grew up, was when something bad happened in my life, well, what did you do that God made that happen? And then when something good I did went right, then God poured favor on me. So we haven't changed much in thousands of years. We're still living with a lot of myths. But I'm here to talk to you about the mythology story of Pandora. And Pandora, she was made, and I'm not going to go into the whole story because it's long. You can always look it up. There's really cute kids' YouTubes explaining Pandora's Box. But anyway, she was made by one of the gods, and I believe it was Zeus, and he made her more beautiful than any other goddess. And she also was given the gift, when she was created, she was given the gift of curiosity, and she was given a box. It was a very special box, but this box was locked, and she was told never to open the box. Never. She was given, oh, it made it worse. They gave her the key to the box, but yet never to open it. Well, remember, she was given the gift of curiosity. So, any of you out there curious people? I am. Oh, you cannot put a Christmas present under the tree and not expect me to go shake it. Much less when I was a kid, I figured out how to untape it without anybody knowing. I was a very curious child, right? Oh, I could go on to the nightmare stories that I did for my parents to ruin Christmas. But anyway, she's given this. She's given this box. And so now she comes to earth and she is looking at this box. She can't stand it. Oh, this box is so beautiful. Oh, look at this box. I've got the key, right? She can no longer take it. She takes the key and she opens the box, and out comes everything in the world that is bad. Evil things fly out of the box, and she gets so scared, she closes the box quickly, and she locks it back up. But it's too late, because all of this evilness has been released. Fear, anger, hatred. Oh, yes, out it goes into the world. Disease. Oh, it's too late. She feels terrible, and she doesn't know what to do. But then she hears something in the box, whispering. She thinks it's calling her name. And she opens it one more time, feeling so bad about what she's done. And inside the box is hope. Hope released out into the world. And from there on, mankind has had hope ever since. How do you like these Greek mythology stories? Aren't they something? It's so we've been blessed with hope according to the Greek mythology story. Thank God. So often we focus on things that divide us, that make us fearful. How many of you have found yourself lately saying, I'm worried about fill in the blank. I'm worried about blank. I'm worried about the test results that haven't come back yet. I'm worried about the election. I'm worried about my neighbor. Anybody feel like that this week? Have you found yourself using the word I'm worried? Nobody? I'm like, I think I'd have said it, and I know, right? When we do this, when we say I'm worried about whatever it is, we are zapping the power of hope. We're zapping it. Hope is a unifying force because hope is not about race, gender, political affiliation, religion, or even social status. Why? Because we all need hope. We all need hope. I'm looking at everybody here, including our Steve Schill out there watching the parking lot. We all need hope. I love that guy. We all need hope. I don't know. Okay, I'm going to make sure that when I say this, I'm going to spell it immediately after. There is a show on Netflix that I got hooked on, and it's called Schitt's Creek. It's spelled S-C-H-I-T-T-S. So just so you know, Reverend Kathy is not up here cussing. The show is literally called Schitt's Creek. It has every walk of life in this show, and it starts out with somebody who is extremely high on the social status scale and loses everything. And they end up living in the town called Schitt's Creek. And the show goes on from there. And as I'm watching the last episode of it, I'm really getting that this show is about hope. Every character has their own dysfunction. They have their own ethnicity, their own political views, their own, I mean, it's just, it's a melting pot of everything. And as it gets towards the last season, it's blaring out to me that every single one of these people need each other because they need hope. What was left in Pandora's box? What was left? Hope. Somebody's listening out there. Hope was released. You've heard the saying, what is it? Hope springs eternal. Do you know that that phrase was coined in 1732? And the meaning of it was in 1732 that people will keep on hoping no matter what the odds are. And that's the truth. That is the truth. Watch how we as a planet, as a world, have been navigating around the coronavirus. Oh yeah, we all go backwards and we get angry at it and then we say, okay, we're going to keep moving forward. And then something happens and then we get back and we're like, I'm sick of this. And then we go forward again because we keep hoping and holding on to hope because we know that a vaccine will come. We know that. We just don't know when. You know, I found this lady named Rosalind Tompkins. Tompkins. She is a humanitarian who works to end drug and alcohol abuse. She has helped form a nonprofit called Mothers in Crisis. She's based out of Tallahassee, Florida. I accidentally stumbled onto her. Accidentally, right? This is no joke. I said a prayer yesterday. I'm sitting in my computer. I got all my notes in front of me, and I'm like, okay, God. And I'm looking at my little angel that I have right on my table, and I'm looking at it. I'm like, okay, I need some help here. I need something. I'm missing something. And boom, here shows this lady that I'm Google searching, not her. I'm Google searching hope, and she shows up. She has formed this Mothers in Crisis Incorporated nonprofit. She is committed to restoring hope to families who have lost hope. And I'm going to say, maybe it's Rosalind. That's probably the proper pronunciation, the way it's spelled. Rosalind calls herself, you're going to love this, she calls herself a hopeologist. A hopeologist. Oh, goodness. She is committed to restoring hope to families who have lost hope. For these families, Pandora's box open and they see no way out. They see no way out of their situations that have resulted, in her case, from drug and alcohol abuse. The families didn't look in the box again. They didn't see hope. Rosalind is opening the box back up and showing them hope is eternal. Rosalind believes that hope is a powerful force that can help anyone and everyone move through challenging times. And we are in a challenging time, are we not? In many ways in our lives right now. Hope brings us together because there is unity in hope. I love that. I'm going to repeat that. Hope brings us together because there is unity in hope. When we come together in one accord and say, there is hope, no matter what is happening, then we become the change that we want to see. I'm going to say that one again because I think it's powerful. Hope brings us together because there is unity in hope. When we come together in one accord and say, there is hope, no matter what is happening, then we become the change we want to see. I'm going to just give you a few stories to back this up. We had a couple of members on our board that were dealing with some struggling issues, family issues, health issue, work issue, and we had a board meeting this week. And part of our board gathering, we start out with a 3-minute share, and in that 3-minute share, we all named if we had a prayer request. So I'm going to say there were, I think, 3 out of 7 for sure that had specific issues, situations going on, major situations going on in their life. Now, what happened was all 7 of us came together in unity and supported each one of them in hope. We prayed in hope, knowing that all was in divine order. The prayer chaplains. I can't tell you enough about, I think there's 9. I believe we've got 9 or 10 prayer chaplains, and they are constantly shooting out prayers of affirmations. And it's not, I hope you get better. No, it's having hope because we know. And in unity, because we have hope, we have 10 chaplains holding that in unity for you when you give us a prayer request. I want to read you a story that I found, and I just found it this morning. And I'll shorten it because it is a little bit long. But this is a true story. And it takes place in Abilene, Kansas. A boy from Abilene had fallen while coming home from school. He skinned his left knee. There we go. That's even a little bit bigger. I like that. There we go. He skinned his knee and it started to ache. Being 13 years of age and a sturdy son of a frontiersman, he ignored it. We're going back many years ago. He ignored it. While ignoring the pain, he knelt in his pajamas and said his prayers, and then he climbed into bed where he and his brothers all slept. His leg was painful, and the next morning, he still didn't tell anybody about his injury, because back in the days, you know how parents were, especially fathers. Oh, quit your crying, get over it, right? Get on with your chores. And that's pretty much the way this boy lived. There were always chores to be done, and he would go back and do his chores. He wouldn't say a word, no matter what. He didn't say a word at mealtime about his injury, and the injury kept getting worse, more painful and more painful. It was many mornings later that it ached so badly that he was dragging himself to the barn. And it was that Sunday when his parents and brothers went off to church, he could not go to church because he couldn't drag his leg. So finally, when they came home, the family did a prayer, and they prayed. The mother then finally took a look at the son's leg and saw how serious it was and called the doctor. Back then, the doctors come to the house. The doctor comes and says, "Oh my goodness, this is way too far gone. If this doesn't heal itself quickly, start to heal, we are looking at amputation of the leg." And the little boy says, "What does that mean?" And then he tells him what that means, and the boy yells, "No, not me. No, Nobody's going to amputate my leg. And he's screaming. Well, the doctor then called the mother off to the living room, and one of the brothers came into the room. And the little boy, the 13-year-old with the injury, made his brother promise me, you will not let them cut my leg off. If I go out of my head, you've got to promise me that they will not do not let them cut my leg off. The brother promises. He stands guard at his brother's bedroom door. He is not going to let anybody take his brother's leg because he made a promise. The doctor stormed out, nodding to the mother, saying, I'm telling you, if we do not do something, we may have to amputate the foot. If you let this go, we are looking at amputating the whole leg. The brother still stood guard at the door and didn't even come down for meals. I'm going to tell you that during this time, the fever mounted, suffering in the boy still continued, but the older brother would not let them in. He remained firm, and once somebody shouted, "This is murder. It's absolute murder." Well, the father and mother took them, and they started to just all gather outside the boy's room and pray for healing, and pray for healing. And it continued. It was nightfall again. 1 week later, the lamps were lighted, and the little boy opened his eyes, and the swelling had gone down. After the discoloration had almost faded, in 3 weeks, pale and weak, but with eyes clear and voice strong, the boy could stand up. And Ike Eisenhower was ready to face his life. Anybody old enough out there that knows who I'm talking about? Ike Eisenhower. This is a true story. Hope runs eternal. The little boy and his brother never gave up hope, and it took a week to convince the family, his parents, to have hope. Hope runs eternal. I'm here to have you consider being a citizen of hope. Rosalind calls it, I'm a hopeologist. I want to encourage all of you. How does it feel when you think about being a hopeologist? To never give up hope, no matter what is in front of you. No matter what is in front of you. Become a hopeologist. A citizen for hope. No matter what negativity is in your Pandora's box, there is always, always hope. Hope runs eternal. I'm committed, especially this week, to stay focused on being a hopeologist. Anybody with me? This is how we change our world. Spread the news, because people need to find hope again. They've forgotten. We need to be the agents for change out there in the world. That's why I love unity. We are change agents. So with that, I say namaste. Namaste to me means I truly, that the Christ presence in me truly sees and honors that Christ presence in each and every one of you. I'm going to look at Kayleen, you, and you, Colleen. Namaste. And with that, it's time for our love offering. Don't disconnect, Facebook. We need you. We truly do need all of you now more than ever. I said last week, the kids will be coming around. We're going to bless our offerings, but I wanted last week to let you know we have had to the tune of $4,000 plus unexpected repairs and maintenance, and we have more to come before the end of the year. We need a little bump in your giving, just a little. If everybody gave a little bump, we'd be okay. So we're going to be okay, but it surely would ease any tension of paying these unexpected bills. So I just ask you to consider that. Let's put our love offerings in our hands. Do it imaginally if you are a sustained giver. And the kids will come around with a love offering box. And they also, I think they bring the 50-cent church in case you weren't here last week. They'll collect for 50-cent church as well. Let's say our blessing together. Divine love expressed through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I have faith in God as my instant, constant, and abundant supply. Thank you, God. And so it is. And Kayleen, is it time? Prayer for protection. Thank you. So let's say the prayer for protection together. Facebook, join us. And all of you in your cars, put your hands out and let's send this prayer out into the world. That the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is and all is well. Take it away, Kayleen. Let there be peace on earth.
Is it going? Yeah. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there